Is this why I have a boyfriend and you don't? It's not like I can help it. You can completely get rid of your gag reflex if you just squeeze your left thumb in your fist. Why do you have a boner? We're in Spanish class. ¿Por qué estás mirando? Okay, to get it to go away, you can try pushing your feet into the floor. It's gonna redirect the blood away from that area to your thighs instead. Se me fue la dirección. Gracias. What's wrong with you? I'm constipated. Have you tried rocking back and forth? Yes, it's not working. Well, this one's kind of for emergencies. I don't know what gender you are, but if you're a girl, you can stick some fingers up there and push it out. If you're a guy, you can do the same thing by just pushing on your taint. I'm literally never asking you for advice ever again.
Here are some of my friends' reactions to cutting off my hair.
No way, you did it!
Did it!
Oh my god!
Right?
Oh, it's like Rasputin.
Bailey.
Oh my god,
Do you have a onesie? Oh my god! Oh my god!
I like hot
Haircut! I don't think you guys are ready. Here's some toys from your childhood that got banned. Barbie and Oreo did a little collaboration and made the Oreo Barbie. The black version of this Barbie was very quickly pulled off of shelves after people started pointing out that Oreo is a derogatory term. So not very many of these Barbies were made, and because of this, people have started selling them on eBay for as much as $300. The inflatable baby boat. ONLYJAYUS got recalled because this product, which is designed to keep babies from drowning, ended up drowning some babies because it was really easy for them to just fall through the leg straps. Which is why a lot of the marketing for it nowadays shows the parent holding on to the child anyway. Razor scooters didn't get banned, but they probably should have. In 2001 alone, it sent over 110,000 kids to the hospital. In a decade, over 3.2 million. It's crazy to think that their next step was to add sparks and a motor to this thing, because that's a good idea. Oh, Bella, make sure you do those dishes like I asked. I am. Don't give me back talk. Give me your phone. Hey, go take the trash out. You got it, Mom. You can count on me. Go take the trash out to the dumpster. Okay. Oh, did somebody spill? That's okay, sweetie. Look, I got a towel. Go clean it up. I didn't spill it. What is with this back talk from you? You know, I'm keeping your phone for another week. Next time you go to shake somebody's hand, instead of doing the traditional up and down, try going left and right. It never gets old watching their faces. You guys just go in a circle. I learned this one from a friend who works at a restaurant, but whenever you're out to eat with like a group of people, make sure you only ask questions to the person that's still chewing. Whenever you go over to somebody's house for like a party or something, make sure you bring some sort of object to leave there. It could be a tiny plant, maybe a TV remote you don't use anymore, some sort of weird statue, just anything that they would find and be like, what? You know, you can actually tell if you're in a good relationship by just these 5 things. You don't get bored around them, like, ever, even on those days when you're doing literally nothing. If you're able to joke around about a recent fight you guys had, that is a good sign because it shows there's no built-up resentment over it. If you guys are starting to pick up on each other's mannerisms and way of speaking, this is a scientifically proven signal that y'all are in love. Being around them doesn't drain you or your social battery. Instead, it actually seems to charge you up. There's no holiday coming up, but you start getting them little things that you know they'll like anyway. Maybe their favorite drink, some snacks, random flowers. My boyfriend will just bring me t-shirts that they found and they end up being my favorite. This is the best and healthiest pasta that I know how to make, and it's literally so goddamn easy. Instant Pot makes it easier. An extra virgin olive oil. Gonna do half a chopped onion. Throw in some garlic. Get any kind of sausage you like. Do this thing where I stack it all up and slice down like that. Oh, you're gonna want to chop up a jalapeno and throw it in there as well. Don't forget to stir this shit. I don't want to have to like wash a spoon too, so. Now add 4 cups of water. Do half a can of diced tomatoes and then half a can of sun-dried tomatoes. Can't forget the spices. People will make fun of you if you forget the spices. Then you just add the pasta. Add some spinach. Close the lid. Pressure cook for about 10 minutes. Oh my god, guys. This shit is so good. I'll literally eat this whole pot in one day. My dad was a beekeeper, so here are some of the honey hacks that I know. Next time you get a pimple, take some raw, unfiltered honey and put it on it and then cover it with a Band-Aid overnight. By the time you wake up, it'll be completely gone. And if you do this honey mask consistently, if you have any acne scars, those will start to disappear too. If you want to take care of some split ends, you can put a little bit of honey on them or a mixture of honey, coconut oil, honey, olive oil. Put it on the split ends. You'll wake up in the morning, they'll be so smooth and moisturized. A little bit of honey can also be a cure for some chapped lips and make it easier to I haven't tried it, that's just what I've heard. If you ever have to measure out honey, put some oil inside the measuring cup. That way when you put the honey in, it won't stick to it and it'll just fall right out. Honey doesn't go bad, so if it ever hardens up on you, just put it in some boiling water, it'll soften right up. Here are some things that happened this week that I think more people should know about. Cartoon Network has decided to merge with Warner Brothers Studios, and in doing this, they have already fired over 80 Cartoon Network employees. And considering the fact that Warner Brothers has really only put their energy into reboots, I think it's safe to say that the original cartoons that we're used to getting from Cartoon Network aren't gonna happen anymore. You know, stuff like Adventure Time, Regular Show, Amazing World of Gumball, Craig of the Creek. This is so sad because they literally just celebrated their 30th birthday. What's gonna happen to Adult Swim? Netflix just announced for $6.99 a month, you can watch their movies and TV shows with ads in 720p of all options. Not to shit on my old employer or anything, but that is literally what the original cost to rent DVDs from Netflix used to be. I don't think anybody wants to pay money to just watch ads anyway, and it's weird that they think we do. Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse that he put $1.2 billion into just came out with a report that shows that they only have 38 active users! But hey, at least they finally added legs, am I right? I can't think of a better way to spend $1.2 billion than to give half a school bus full of people legs in a fake universe. It has officially been 3 years since I got fired from Best Buy, and Psychology Tricks blew the fuck up on this app, and so much has happened since, you know? I got TikTok famous, I got canceled, I blew up again, I got canceled again, and again, and again. And because of all that, I decided to address everything. Like, everything. All of the reasons people hate me. I felt like it was something that I needed to do in order to progress mentally. And the response so far is not what I expected. I feel like it's because more YouTube people are watching it than TikTok people, so if you haven't seen it yet, I would recommend you go watch it. I am going to take a little bit of a break now though. I've been working on this video for so long, now that it's finally finished, my body has relaxed and I'm starting to feel like I'm getting sick. Just for a few days though, might post some drafts, but I want to say thank you to every single one of you that has helped me build out this platform to over 20 million people. Like, what? I want as many people to watch this video as possible, so if you could like, comment, share, maybe even repost, that'd be really cool. I can't wait to see where the next 3 years takes us, guys. Why on earth would I cut my... I did it. It's been about 2 years. I think it's time for a change. Did you think I was gonna actually shave my head? I'm not insane. Why would I do... Did it. I'm just kidding. This is obviously a filter. I didn't shave my head. I did get a haircut though. What do you think? Hey, do you have any chapstick? No, I don't. But I learned in this survival book that you can just use the grease around your nose as a substitute. What do you mean the grease? Oh my god. Oh man, I just jumped in the pool. I got water stuck in my ears. Oh yeah, same thing happened to me. Just tilt the ear that's more full, like down towards the ground. Now jump, but land on your heels with your knees locked. How the hell? Hey. What? Before I leave, do you want anything from the store? I had the music on way too loud and my ears are ringing. What? I swear, take your palms, put them on your ears, and then with your fingers, tap the back of your skull. I don't understand how that worked. I see so many videos about me saying that I'm way too loud, tons of comments being like, Jayus, why are you yelling at me? And I don't even mean to. I don't think I'm that loud. Let's test it. I'm gonna light my hair on fire, 1 sec. I gotta make sure I'm not too breathy with it. I wanna make sure it's actually the volume of the screen doing it. Here's some things that airports don't tell you, but they probably should. Over 70% of crashes are survivable, but the reason they say that most people don't is because they don't dress to egress, meaning closed-toed shoes and non-synthetic clothing to be able to survive while waiting for rescue. You should drink a lot of water before getting on the plane because it's pressurized at a higher altitude than sea level, which is going to make you dehydrated, which, yes, means alcohol will affect you more. If you forget your phone charger, don't buy one at the airport, they're overpriced. Instead, ask somebody at the check-in counter. They usually have this big box of extras and they'll give you one if you're nice about it. The little church inside of an airport is a great place to get some sleep. Yes, the plane gives you the option to recline your seat back about a ½ an inch, and it is totally within your right to use it. Get comfortable, but it is the quickest way to make sure that the person sitting behind you is your arch nemesis for life. Did you know that the color of your bed sheets can actually make or break the quality of sleep that you're getting? Some of the worst colors you can put in your bedroom are red because it's a danger signal, it brings out a lot of energy, purple because of its intensity and making people want to be creative, and brown because it's kind of gloomy and isolating. Some middle of the ground colors would be orange because it's kind of like brown but more bright and exciting. Black can be okay if you do it right, but it can also bring up a lot of negative emotions like fear, anger, and sadness. Same thing with white. In a hotel it can be really nice, but in your own home it can come off as really harsh and sterile and kind of uninviting. Beige is a good trade-off because it's still simple but gives off a little bit more peace and warmth. By far the best colors you can put into your room to improve your sleep would be a light pink because it's known to be gentle and improve your mood, green because it's a very natural, tranquil color, organic vibes, and blue is regarded as the #1 best color for sleep. I'm getting very calm, stable, trustworthy feelings from these sheets. After reading all that, my insomnia is making a whole lot of sense. Maddie is taking me on a tour of their hometown.
I just crashed my mom's car. I don't know. This is the Starbucks. This is the Target.
The elusive Target.
The Starbucks inside the Target. Wow. That's my little elementary school.
You go down that slide?
Yeah, all the time. That's the library. I didn't spend too much time there.
Oh, it's like a really cool view for a movie theater.
Yeah, this is town center. This is where everybody would go on the weekends. Except for me.
Here's some not so fun facts to ruin your day. This is what the inside of a cup of noodles looks like. When you're on your period, you don't need to avoid going swimming. You don't even really need a tampon. Your period's not just gonna leak into the pool. The water pressure and buoyancy of it all is gonna create this upward motion stopping any of the blood from coming out. That large bucket of popcorn you paid $9 to get only costed the movie theater about 35 cents to make. Tokyo has a feastiality restaurant where they let you have sex with an animal and then they kill it and serve it to you to eat. If you're allergic to chocolate and or coffee, you're also allergic to cockroaches. This is a little quick PSA to all those who like a clean shaven feeling look down there. If you shave all of the hair around your donut hole, you won't be able to fart silently anymore. I asked, is it appropriate to hit your kids as punishment? The people who weren't hit as kids made it pretty clear that no, it's not appropriate. I am worried for that 5% here, but it's the people who were hit as kids that seem a little bit more divided on the subject. And I just wanted to test something because this felt weird. I asked people if it's appropriate to hit their pets as punishment, and what do you know? 86% of people agree that that is not right. Everybody else probably shouldn't have a pet. I'm just confused why we can all agree that it's not okay to hit pets, but there's still this big chunk of people that think it's okay to hit kids, when they're the ones that can understand language and reasoning. I don't get it. Let me know what you think, because I'm curious. I even asked if it's appropriate to hit adults as punishment. The majority of people said no. What is going on? I have two Great Danes, okay? Astro and Nova. Mr. Astro Butt doesn't have his balls anymore, and he had to get a gastroplexy because Great Danes are susceptible to bloat. Both surgeries happened at the same time, and it costed about $3,000, which I thought was fine because I had pet insurance with Pets Best. They sent me back $65. It didn't even cover his pain meds. Nova here, when she was just a little baby puppy, ended up overeating because she got into her brother's food and actually got bloat. She tried to throw it up, which didn't work. She just inhaled this vomit, which caused a lung infection, and she got pneumonia and had to spend 5 days in the animal hospital. Picking up a $7,000 vet bill, which sucked to put on my credit card, but I had Pets Best, who guaranteed a 90% reimbursement. They didn't even notify me that the claim was finished. I had to call and ask what's up, and they were like, oh yeah, we're not paying for any of that. Reason they gave me for him was that it was a non-emergency surgery, and the reason they gave me for her was because of a waiting period for medical emergencies. So I ended up paying about $10,000 out of pocket plus $3,000 to Pets Best insurance, which doesn't make sense because they're not insurancing. And I just would have saved so much money and heartbreak by never getting their insurance in the first place and just paying out of pocket, you know? And I've messaged other people who have like worked with Pets Best, and they're like, yeah, wait a minute, all my claims never seem to go through. So I genuinely think this company is scamming people. Please don't give them your money. If anybody out here has actually good pet insurance, please let me know because I feel like they're gonna need it. You know, Great Danes, they always have like issues. I need it. Help, please. If you're feeling like you hate yourself, take a shower. If you're feeling like you hate everyone, try eating something. If you feel like everyone hates you, get some sleep. And if you're feeling like everyone hates everyone, put down the phone and go outside. So I've been seeing a lot of those like, oh, let's watch my spine decompress videos where people like hang and you kind of watch them drop a little bit. But I feel like it's just your shoulders relaxing, so I'm gonna try it. So it's been a whole month since I quit smoking. I'm 23. I started smoking when I was 12, so this is the biggest change that I've ever made in my life. Week 1 was hell. I had this constant headache, no appetite, and I was just irritable to everything going on around me. Week 2 somehow got worse. I had this excruciating pain going on in my ribs, and I was just having these really weird nightmares, and the only thing good that came out of it was my dad decided to quit smoking too. Week 3, I actually started to feel better, like this is something I could actually do, until I relapsed and smoked a tiny joint that I found to help me stop crying and go to sleep because I just had an awful day. I felt really guilty about doing that until I talked to my sister, and she was like, you just went 3 weeks without it, you're doing good, keep pushing. So that's the mentality I have with it now. I haven't touched it since, and we just passed week 4, so hopefully me just being honest with my story can help somebody out there start or continue theirs. So yeah, I appreciate all the support. So I learned from the Snoop Dogg cookbook that orange chicken is made with orange juice. Just gonna throw a couple of cups of that in there. 6 tablespoons of soy sauce, but low sodium so I don't have a fucking heart attack. 2 tablespoons of some off-brand sriracha. 2 teaspoons sesame oil. And 2 tablespoons of honey. Did you know my dad was a beekeeper? I'm not sure how to measure pepper flakes. Heat this up until it thickens. We got Liv cutting an ungodly amount of chicken.
Don't censor the knife.
I'm going to take these eggs and we're gonna do 3 cups of cornstarch. Oh God. Now we're gonna put the chicken and the egg and the flour into this pan, which I will heat up with this canola oil. I'm gonna slowly add chicken and add sauce and add chicken and sauce. Also making rice. I am so fucking excited.
Oh, it's so hot. Oh!
Next time.
We can save for next time.
I can help you add to it.
It's unreal, you know me.
That's been really good.
Soy sauce just makes everything taste so kind of.
It tastes like
What?
no chicken.
Wake up! No. You asked me to do this like 10 times. Here I am doing it. Summer has come and passed and you spent the whole thing sleeping. Here's some toys from your childhood. that got banned. The Harry Potter Nimbus 2000 broomstick was an all too magical piece of plastic that vibrated to simulate flying. Some of the actual reviews read, "I'm surprised how long my daughter can just sit in her room riding this broomstick. The only problem my son has with this is how quickly the batteries run out. Even my 17-year-old daughter likes this thing." After Toys R Us took these off the shelves, a lot of sex shops started selling them. Colossal water balls. They're like Orbeez, but bigger. These things looked and felt like candy, so it's no surprise that kids just started eating them. When they went to the hospital due to dehydration, doctors couldn't see these things on x-rays, so they had to go through surgery and a lot of kids died. The Hannah Montana Pop Star card game. This game, many other Hannah Montana merchandise were recalled due to the fact that they were covered in lead, about 75% more than the recommended safety level. If you regularly have to leave your house, like for work or something, okay, leave treats around before you go. That way your cat isn't anxious for you to leave. They're more excited for the little treasure hunt. Cats love boxes because it makes them feel safe. They have this idea that they can see everything, but nobody can see them. Even if that box isn't real. Cat hierarchy is simple. If they regularly place themselves above you, they think they're in charge. You should really read up on cat body language because their way of showing affection or anxiety is completely different than other pets. So like if they knead on you or rub their faces on you, that's their way of showing affection. Or if they like slow blink at you while maintaining eye contact, that's their way of giving you a kiss. And if you do it back, they might just do it again. Reason just... Cats don't see the person that feeds them as their owner. They just see them as the feeder. So if you want your cat to see you as the owner, you have to train them. The issue is, humans can be trained just as easily, and the cat usually wins.
Ah! What? What the hell? What's wrong with you? Sex? What? Sex? Ah!
So I was curious about which country has the happiest people, and it turns out that the World Population Review actually keeps track of this. In last place, we have Afghanistan, with an overall happiness rating of a 2.5 out of 10. And then we have countries like Zimbabwe, Yemen, and India with scores around 3.1 to 3.8. The United States is in 19th place with a 6.9 out of 10. I feel like we have Stockholm Syndrome or something. UK's in 17th place with a 7.06, followed by Costa Rica. In 15th place, we have Ireland, Canada, Germany, and Australia, and they're all in the 7.1 to 7.18 range. Austria's in 10th place with a 7.2, and the top 5 happiest countries are the Netherlands, Iceland, Switzerland, Denmark, and in first place is Finland with a 7.8. And they say they're happy because they're free, have mutual trust, high wages, and their government isn't corrupt. If you have a jar that is stuck, okay, I've given you guys a lot of different hacks to try and get this off, but if none of them seem to work for whatever reason, you can take a bottle opener, pop it off. A razor is gonna last like 5 to 7 shaves before the blades get dull and you need to replace it. But you can make it last like 5 times longer by just making sure you wipe out any of the hair that's in it and then having it soak in baby oil. If you have a visible hickey, first of all, smack the shit out of whoever did that to you. We're not in middle school anymore. Unless you are, then whatever. But if you don't want somebody to see this hickey, take a whisk and swirl it around on your skin for about 5 to 10 minutes. It's gonna break up all the blood that's stuck there on the surface and the bruise will go away. If your dog ever gets out of the house and starts running away, instead of chasing it, you should run in the opposite direction to get them to chase you instead. Dogs don't understand the concept of a mistake. So if you ever accidentally like step on their paw, they just think you did it on purpose. Hello. If your dog ever initiates contact with you by like resting their head on you, placing their paw on you, bumping into you, it's a sign that they love you and they're happy. And I really do think more dog owners should read up about dog body language because like yawning doesn't mean they're tired. It's an anxiety sign. Same thing if you like start petting them and they lick their lips. They don't want to be pet, or if they shake, they're stressed out. When dogs start going deaf, they don't understand that they can't hear anymore. They just think you stopped talking to them. I genuinely feel sorry for Ken in the Bee movie. You're telling me if a bee stole your girlfriend and then gaslit you into thinking you were crazy, you wouldn't do the same thing? I don't agree with Syndrome's methods of violence and kidnapping a baby, but his message of if everybody's super, then nobody is isn't wrong. You would think Pixar would want to spread the message of, oh, you can be special too if you work hard enough, but instead they just say some people are born special and some people aren't. If you try to fight against that, you're just jealous. Otto from WALL-E isn't really a villain. He's just an AI following his programming. Protect humans, don't let them go back to Earth. Like, finding this plant isn't proof that this planet is habitable. One plant out of the trillion tons of garbage and rooting for them to go back? Like, the planet is just starting to heal itself, and I don't think the cannibalistic milkshake drinking bitches learned the errors of their ways. So I sprained my ankle again in quite possibly the dumbest way that I've ever done this before. I'm gonna try and leave this fancier pimple patch on because it's like deeper in there. I didn't really sleep that well, so I decided that I was gonna try and take a nap on the couch. But my Great Danes are taking up the majority of the couch, so I'm like in this fetal position, which is fine. I take my nap, it was great. I wake up after like an hour to my dogs on top of my legs, so my foot fell asleep. But I really have to pee, so I move them and try to get up. My foot was so asleep, it was as if it like wasn't even there. It didn't exist. So I placed this non-existent foot down and it kind of just like my ankle kissed the floor. I hear a pop. I fall to the ground and I'm just like writhing in pain. And to make matters worse, my foot decided to wake up. All the blood just rushed to it, so I get that like pins and needles feeling, which is just excruciating. I'm screaming louder. So now for like the 13th time in my life, I'm wearing a splint and I should use these crutches, but that feels a bit dramatic, but never using them is probably the reason I keep hurting myself. Here are some of my favorite psychology tricks that I know work because I use them. If somebody's feet are pointed towards you in a conversation, that means that they're interested and content in the conversation. But if they're pointed away, not so much. And you can use this in a big group to tell who likes who. If you're talking to somebody who's known to lie and manipulate, you can get them to not do that to you by, instead of making eye contact, just stare at their forehead slightly above their eye line. This is gonna make them uncomfortable and subconsciously intimidated. If somebody is just being an asshole to you, try to remain calm and silent for at least 4 to 5 seconds before responding, because their brain is going to perceive that silence as rejection and they're going to dig themselves into a deeper hole by being unnecessarily upset. If you're playing games or a sport against somebody, ask them how they're playing so well. This is going to get them to think about it, out of their flow zone, and they're going to play worse. One way to get somebody to like you is to get them to do small favors for you, and the easiest way to do that is by adding real quick to the end of the question, like, hey, can you kiss me really quick? As somebody who has 11 siblings, here are some of the best parenting hacks I know. Learn to say thank you when they do something good, and I'm sorry when you eventually make a mistake. I promise you, you're gonna gain a whole lot more respect from them than the whole I'm the parent, you're the child routine. Take a Sharpie and write your phone number on the inside of their shoe. That way, if they ever get lost, somebody has a way to contact you. If you're taking them to someplace like a water park where they're not gonna be wearing shoes, get like a temporary tattoo with your phone number instead. Experiences are better than things. Be careful with your phrasing. If you ask your kid if they want a hot dog for dinner, they have the option to say no. Instead, ask them what they want on their hot dog for dinner, giving them the illusion of choice. Tell your kid right from the start that if they don't brush their teeth well enough, they're gonna fall out. That way, when their baby teeth start coming out, you'd be like, well, you just didn't brush good enough. They're gonna take care of those adult teeth. Did you know that the way you sleep can tell a lot about your personality? The fetal position. Many people, including myself, sleep this way because it offers a sense of safety. Those who favor curling up like a baby tend to be really sensitive but project a tough exterior. The log. Sleep specialists say that if this is your favorite way to sleep, you're probably really easygoing, social, and relatively trusting of others. The yearner. This is similar to log sleepers in the sense that you have a really open nature, but you're more cynical and not as gullible. The soldier. If you sleep on your back with your arms to your sides, you're more likely to wake up refreshed. You hold yourself to high standards, and when asked, you probably say that you sleep this way due to medical benefits. Except your snoring probably annoys people. The free faller. This is the worst position to sleep in, but if you prefer it, you're more likely bold and highly sociable, but you don't have the thickest skin when it comes to taking criticism. The starfish. You're known to be more selfless, even though everybody kind of thinks you're a bed hog. The pillow hugger. You like to be cozy and cuddle, and you hold high value to close personal bonds, and you cherish your relationships over everything else. The thinker. If you sleep on your side with one hand under your chin so it looks like you're lost in contemplative thoughts, it signals that you have high emotions. You live life on an emotional roller coaster and it keeps the people around you on their toes. The stargazer. This is one of the least popular sleeping positions because it's one of the most vulnerable. If you sleep like this, you're really happy, easygoing, and sure of who you are. Fully covered. If you sleep completely under the blankets 100% of the time, you're afraid of taking risks and getting hurt. 1 foot out. People who sleep like this want one thing and one thing only, and that's comfort in all aspects of their life. Head over the edge. This sleeping position is tied with people who want to escape their day-to-day life and desperately want change. It also causes a lot of headaches. Is your school spying on you? I'd put money down and say that your school gave you a laptop to use for your studies. If so, open up Google Chrome on your computer and type in Chrome://policy. This is going to allow you to see what your admin, aka your school, has allowed on the device. If you open it up and there's nothing there, that is a good sign. But if some policies actually pop up, you're going to want to click these link out buttons to see what the policies actually mean. When you click on that, if there's anything related to video capture allowed or screen record allowed, your school is watching everything you do. I'd recommend covering that webcam up.
What is something that you grew up thinking was a major luxury? Like you could only have it if you had money?
If you had stairs in your house, I thought you were a millionaire. If you had Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, I was so jealous of you because for a while we only had PBS Kids. Going out to eat at restaurants, but also being allowed to get appetizers. Any Lunchables that weren't just ham, cheese, and crackers. Having your own bedroom was just a wild concept to me, but then I met kids that had bathrooms attached to their bedrooms and I was just like... Your parents are rich. Those fridges that had a water dispenser on the outside and made their own ice. Any box of crayons that had more than 8 colors. The concept of a vacation that wasn't just going to grandma's house. Boxed cereal. We only bought the ones that came in the huge bags. Grass. If you're ever walking around and you feel like somebody's following you, just slow down. Okay, you're probably just a little bit paranoid, but there are a couple things you can do to help you get you out of the situation. First of which is to pick up the pace, okay? If this person is following you, they're gonna speed up too. If they have started speeding up with you and you're wearing a hoodie, okay, tuck the hoodie into your shirt, and if you're wearing a ponytail, take the ponytail out. This is gonna stop them from just grabbing you. Also make sure you don't just walk home, Why are you leading this person to your house? Instead, make a right turn and then make another right turn and another right turn and another right turn. You're gonna make a full circle. If this person has made a full circle with you, it's time to start panicking. You got a few options, okay? The most dangerous of which is to turn around and make direct eye contact with them. This will probably throw them off and they might leave you alone. Second of which is to wave to the first random person that you see, pretend that you know them. They'll probably leave you alone now that they think you're not alone. Or you could walk to a police or fire station because I doubt they'll follow you in there. If you're planning on traveling abroad, never do these things. Going to anywhere in the Caribbean, don't wear camo. It's illegal for civilians to do so. If you're traveling to Greece, don't pack your high heels because you won't be allowed at any of the ancient sites because your shoes could damage it. In American culture, not tipping makes you an asshole, but in Japan, tipping makes you the asshole. Just don't do it. They're not going to accept it and it's going to be really awkward. If you're grabbing a bite to eat in China, make sure you don't finish all the food on your plate, okay? In our culture, it's a sign of oh, the food was really good. But in theirs, it's a sign of oh, I didn't give you enough food to eat and it can be considered rude. In India, make sure you're careful about which hand you're using because your right hand is used for eating food, greeting other people, but your left hand is used for wiping your ass or cleaning your feet, and it can be very insulting if you mix the two. I can kind of see what the logic here is trying to be, but don't do this. If your house is on fire, get out of the fucking house. Going in the shower is gonna do nothing except maybe preserve your dead body to be identified easier. Maybe. Standing in the shower is not gonna do anything to help prevent smoke inhalation. You're still gonna inhale all of it, pass out, and die. Your water pipes are also probably being heated up by said fire, meaning you're just gonna get hit with boiling water. Having a glass door might save you a couple minutes, but if you don't have this and it's just a shower curtain, that's gonna light on fire. And if your house is on fire, that means the structure is probably coming down, meaning you're going to get crushed in by the roof and die. Just look up pictures of houses that have burnt down and try to identify where the shower is. You can't. Somebody's riding my ass, I don't brake check them because that's dangerous. What I like to do is hit the windshield wiper fluid, that way it flies back and hits them and lets them know they're way too fucking close. Or I like to give them a thumbs down as they pass by me because it hurts a little bit more than just flipping them off. And if you ever get into your car and it's just way too hot because it's been sitting in the sun, the quickest way to cool it off is to roll down one side window and with the other side, just pump the hot air out. It takes less than a minute. You're driving in an area with a lot of stoplights. Usually most of those lights are programmed to where if you're going the exact speed limit, you'll only hit greens. Speed limit's 40 right now, so I'll go 40. There's 1, 2, 3. I even got the green arrow. Everyone experiences and perceives love differently. But similarly enough that we've been able to categorize 6 different love styles. Eros is passionate love, and when we think of a romantic relationship, these people tend to fall head over heels and just love being in love. Mania is obsessive love. People with this love style tend to come off as obsessive and codependent, and depending on how well their partner is fulfilling their needs, they can feel very high highs or very low lows. Ludus is game playing love. These people tend to be a little bit more emotionally distant because they don't want to be more attracted to a person than that person is to them, so they end up exploring all the romantic prospects at the same time. Pragma is practical love. These people prioritize compatibility over chemistry, and they're constantly reassessing their relationship in their own mind because they want to make sure this person checks off all their boxes. Storge is platonic love. These people tend to fall in love with those they already have a friendship with because they value that level of trust that's been already built. Agape is selfless love. These people love unconditionally and tend to prioritize their partner's happiness because it makes them happy. If you're somebody who's still in school, you need to know these hacks. If you ever have to research something that's kind of complex, just delete this EN dot and type in simple dot and Wikipedia will dumb it down for you. And if reading in that format ever just gets too difficult, you can always type in the subject you need to learn about, followed by file type :PPT, and a bunch of different PowerPoint presentations on the subject are gonna pop up. I swear to God, if I ever see any one of you spending money on a textbook, I will crawl through this screen and beat your ass. Type in the name of the book your teacher's trying to get you to buy, followed by file type :PDF, and the whole textbook will just appear for free. So I just started my period, and it got me thinking, how the hell did women of the past deal with this? Because they didn't have pads or tampons or Midol or menstruation crustaceans. Like, how did they do it? So I did some digging, and it turns out a lot of ancient cultures just tried to use paper to absorb the blood. And it was the ancient Greeks that took a small piece of wood, covered it in lint, and used that to plug it up. It was Native Americans that used a mixture of moss and buffalo skin to make the world's first natural pad. During the medieval times, a lot of women used this makeshift rag underwear, but it wasn't like a disposable thing, you know? Like, you were on the rag, you had your rag. It wasn't until the mid-1800s that the sanitary apron was introduced, which was this rubber sheet that ran in between your legs to stop the blood from getting on your clothes. It was actually World War I nurses that paved the way for the first sanitary napkin. In 1931, tampons were invented, and I thought it was a modern trend, but the menstrual cup was invented in the 1930s. But then questions around virginity started happening, so people leaned more into pads, and in the 60s, they added the adhesive strip. I thought I was the only one. No, I didn't. This deep under the skin itch happens for a couple of reasons. Most common of which is allergies. And a lot of people say that this usually happens right after they do the dishes. And to that, I say maybe try getting a different soap or doing your dishes with gloves on because the hot water can dry your hands out. Another reason is your nerves are just really fucking weird. Like, all the nerves that you have in your like whole leg, okay, can be condensed down into the nerves in your hand. So let's say you get an itch on like your pinky finger. Your brain isn't like, oh, my pinky finger itches. It kind of just like sends the signal to the general deep skin. They say it could also be related to complex motor tics, but unless you have other tics going on, you probably just touched something you're allergic to. Everybody experiences time differently. There's actually 2 different ways that people say they perceive it, and to figure out which one you are, you just have to answer this question, okay? If I say the meeting on Wednesday got pushed forward by 2 days, what day is the meeting? If you said that the meeting is now on Monday, you have a time-moving perspective. But if you said that the meeting is now on Friday, you have an ego-moving perspective. An ego-moving perspective means that you see yourself moving forward through time, like sitting on a chair, rolling forward. The time-moving perspective means that you see yourself as stagnant and time is moving forward through you, like pulling the chair towards you on a rope. It's kind of crazy to think about, but the color brown doesn't exist. That video got over 15 million views 2 years ago, and I don't think I ever explained myself as well as I could have, so we're gonna try again. Obviously, brown exists, right? If we're just talking about using our eyes, looking around, I can see that that's brown. But what if I told you that it's actually just orange in disguise? If you think about how we see color, it's just light traveling at different speeds. For the color orange to hit our eyes, the light has to be traveling at a frequency of between 600 and 630 nanometers. Brown travels at about 610, meaning it's a part of the orange family. This orange box only looks orange because of the context behind it. It was brown the whole time. So wherever on the light spectrum you think you exist, just remember, you're actually just orange. The loudest word ever shouted was quiet! It is impossible to speak while breathing through your nose. Don't try it. Don't do it. What are you doing? I just said you can't do. What are you doing? Getting angry when you hear other people breathing is called misophonia, and it's actually a brain disorder. If you're ever choking and you're alone and you just know that there's gonna be nobody around to help you, you need to get on your hands and knees and then just drop your body to the floor. The sudden push of air is gonna push any food out of your throat. If you're ever trying to defend yourself against an attacker and you have a knife, okay, instead of trying to like poke them places, slash them across the forehead. It's going to bleed so much, effectively blinding them. If somebody ever tries to smother you with a pillow in your sleep, just turn your head ever so slightly until you find the air pocket to breathe. Granted, this person's probably going to continue trying to kill you, but at least it won't be something as stupid as a pillow. This has got to be the most perfect example of just because you can doesn't mean you should. They made little nanobots that help sperm reach the egg. And for infertility issues, okay, I kind of get this, but you have to think about the kind of person you're creating by doing this. It's either going to be the stupidest kid you've ever met or the laziest. Don't you think that the poor mobility of the sperm is an indicator of poor genetic quality? Like, we all had to win a race, and this guy just gets valet for jizz. Things that aren't illegal, but are creepy as hell. Celebrity 18th birthday countdowns. It's almost exclusively done to girls. Most recent of which was Millie Bobby Brown. But I can promise you it's been going on for a very long time. Sexist baby clothes. They always have some weird, demeaning, or awkward saying on them. Like, why are you putting this on your kid? And the costumes are always a little fucked up. Like, why does the boy get to be a doctor and the girl have to be a beauty salon person? And to add on to something like this, prom pictures where the dad is just holding a gun. Big tough guy threatening a teenager. Why are we letting men do this? And to take it a step further, what about purity balls? It's when daughters are forced to pledge their virginity to their fathers. What? So I bought these shorts that I really like, but Maddie said when I put them on, it looks like I pissed myself. And I have not worn them since. Because they're right. So I got a bucket and a bottle of black dye and we're gonna fix this. I messed up, the water has to be hot. Dye. Yeah, here we go. Just get in there. Just drown. It also wants like half a cup of salt for some reason. Good luck! Here is the final result. What do you think? Sometimes I wish I was a man, but not because I want to be a dude, okay? Gross. I really just want your guys' 24-hour cycle instead of this 28-day one. Because last week, I was great, okay, on top of the world. But because I'm on day 17 of 28, means my estrogen has gone and my progesterone's gone, woo! So I feel like jello right now. I don't want to work out. I really just want to cry, but it's not even like PMS week, which means it's only gonna get worse from here. Imagine waking up every day though and feeling the fucking same. I don't think guys understand that it's not the same for...
This is a pickle picker. You use it to grab your pickle, take it out of the jar, and of course, eat it. Can you guys say pickle picker 3 times fast?
Pickle picker, pickle picker, pickle picker. This is a fork. Can you say fork? Oh, come on, you can do it. Let's... Everybody wants to know how I did this. They all want to be a part of the secret. So I'm gonna tell you. Honestly, not even that difficult. You just have to grab your nearest keyboard, double click that space bar. I'm kidding. There's a... it's a harness. It really fucking hurts. Like, look what it's doing to my shoulders. That's insane. If you follow my boyfriend Maddie, they kind of leaked the secret before I could even post about it. My knees hurt. Yeah, magic. I don't really like not knowing how things work. So when I saw that Olivia Alpert person literally floating and defying gravity, I knew I had to figure it out. And I think I did. This is harder than I thought. I'm gonna shit myself. So when I was in college, I lived in an apartment complex that had one of these like communal laundry rooms where you had to pay like 50 cents to $1 to use the washing machine and dryer, and I didn't want to do that. So I looked up the unit's model number and bought a lockbox key and saved hundreds of dollars doing laundry. I also never bought any of the textbooks. What am I gonna do with it after the class? Read it? Okay, either find a free PDF of it online, use somebody else's book, or if you absolutely have to buy it, don't buy it from the school bookstore. You're just asking to be robbed. Use a website like Slugbooks to compare the best prices. Another thing I did in college was right before an exam, I would send out a mass email to the class being like, hey, I just finished my study guide. Send me yours and I'll send you mine. Never actually made a study guide, but I ended up with everybody's, would send them back to everybody, and we all get good grades. I learned something from my therapist today that I really wish I would have known sooner. So I'm gonna tell you, because I think the whole world would benefit from this knowledge. If a child feels a lack of love from their father, they're going to have low self-esteem and an emotional imbalance and constantly looking for love wherever they can find it. And if a child feels a lack of love from their mother, they're going to have anger, communication, and trust issues. And if a child feels a lack of love from both of the parents, they're gonna have all of those symptoms, plus the added feeling of confusion and feeling unlovable until they get their shit figured out. Here's some really weird human body facts that I can guarantee you didn't know. Your stomach has more brain cells than a cat has in its whole brain. Like, you have a whole complex nervous system down there that has its own memory, reflexes, and senses. Your tongue knows exactly what everything feels like without having to lick it, like my watch, or a mirror, or this tampon. You can feel this in your mouth right now, whether you want to or not. When a person gives birth, all the hormones in their body make their memory a little bit hazy. They legitimately forget how awful that was, but your brain does this on purpose to make you do it again. In the movie Elf, Will Ferrell's character Buddy has to test out some Jack-in-the-Boxes that he's absolutely terrified of because of the jump scare. And this reaction is genuine because the director was sitting off camera with a remote, just having them randomly pop out to scare him. In the movie Home Alone, the actor Daniel Stern had to have a tarantula put on his face, and he wasn't given a whole lot of heads up beforehand. So he was like, but aren't tarantulas poisonous? Yes. But won't that kill me? Not if you don't scare the spider, but I have to be screaming. Isn't that gonna scare the spider? Spiders don't have ears. And he was like, okay. And so we got this iconic scene. In the movie Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man gets hit with a big blast of water. Crazy. Like, he did a great job acting all wet, right? His stunt double actually got hit with all that water. In the movie Jaws, they decided not to tell the actress who's the first person to get attacked that there was going to be a machine in the water that was going to actually attack her and pull her under. So her screams of just pure terror are as real as they can be. In the movie The Princess Bride, there's a scene where Wesley has to get knocked out, but they weren't able to get it to look as realistic as they wanted it to, so he was like, hit me. Just hit me with this very real metal sword in the head. And they did, and he woke up in the hospital. But at least the scene looks good. Here's some of the coolest websites that you need to know about. Emulatorgames.online. This website has a bunch of the old consoles, and let's say you wanted to play a Nintendo DS game, they have all of the options right here to play right on the website. Woof.net. This website gives you the opportunity to travel the world in exchange for volunteer work in the agriculture space. Like, let's say I want to go to Portugal, I wouldn't have to pay for housing or food, I would just have to work for it. Onlinesequencer.net. It's this website where you can make insane pieces of music for free. Yeah! Today is National Girlfriend Day, and even though I have a boyfriend, they're non-binary, so I think it's perfectly acceptable for me to try and do something cute for them. So I have a pen, and I have paper, and I'm gonna write this motherfucker a love letter. I think it needs to be more than that. I'm very bad at expressing what's going on up here, but I have to try. We got a draft. Another draft. How do I tell this person that I just love them so much? Do you guys have any ideas? I think they're working out their own thing. Okay, I think I got a final draft here. I just have to put it on nicer paper and like write neater. I did it, and they're on their way. Do I just like give it to them? Like, if I don't have any perfume, would it be weird to spray some Febreze on it? Hey, how did he get that bruise? I have no clue. Oh, just put this on it. A banana peel? Yes. Hold that on there for about half an hour and the bruise should look better, if not be completely gone. You should try brushing your teeth with your other hand. Why? Well, you'll reach parts of your teeth that you weren't cleaning before, and you're forcing your brain to work differently. Well, this is definitely harder. Why are you just eating peppers? I'm trying to lose weight. What? Yeah, spice tricks your taste buds into being more satisfied with smaller amounts. If you're ever overthinking, like your brain is just running at 1,000,000 miles an hour, you're juggling all these things that you know you're supposed to do, and you're replaying every embarrassing thing you've ever said, and you want that to stop, just keep your eyeballs still. In order for your brain to think and fetch memories, okay, there needs to be movement in your eyes, and if you consciously stop that movement, the racing of the mind will stop. And if you notice that you're still having this like overwhelming feeling of negative emotion, one long time meditation trick is to just lean your head back and have your eyes stare directly up, making sure that they're still, but this will actually change your brain waves and activate a feeling of relief and calmness. And if neither of these things work for you and you still have a lot of like nervous energy, try sticking your head in a bowl of water. This is going to trigger what's called the diving reflex, which will lower your heart rate and immediately cause the chain reaction to get rid of any anxiousness in your body. Body hacks that I know work because I use them. Here's some survival tips that I've heard on this app that would actually just get you killed. If a bear is ever chasing you, just run downhill because bears can't run downhill. You can barely run downhill. I think whoever started this just wanted to see their friend get mauled by a bear because, like, bears can run downhill at a shocking speed. If you're ever out lost somewhere, be sure to ration your water. That way it'll last you longer. Lost hikers have been found with plenty of water on them because they decided to ration it, got dehydrated, and didn't realize it. So just drink your water when you're thirsty, even if it only lasts like a couple of hours. It's going to keep your mind and body working. If you're ever out lost in the extreme cold, just drink some alcohol to warm you up. Alcohol actually lowers your body temperature. You feel warmer because your blood vessels are dilating, but this is just making you lose more heat. You're more likely to die from hypothermia. Ugh, I keep sweating through all of my shirts like I put deodorant on every morning. What is going on? Not all deodorants are antiperspirants. Some are just made for smell, and you really should be putting it on at night. At night? Dude, I've had the hiccups for like 3 days now. No shit. Plug your ears. Why? And drink this. What? Drink this. Are they gone? Okay, I want to talk to them about it. Like, I really do, but I don't think I can without crying. Well, I mean, you can practice forcing yourself not to cry. You just have to focus on your breathing and blinking, and if worse comes to worse, you can just pinch the bridge of your nose and it'll block your tear ducts. Why hasn't anybody told me this before? Here's some psychology tricks that work if you're trying to flirt. Do what's called the triangle gaze. This is when you look at somebody in their eye, and then their mouth, and then their other eye, and smile. They get all flustered. Send an audio message instead of a text or a video, because there's just something about having to focus on somebody's voice that does something to people. When you're talking with them, like in person, try to go for a walk. Your guys' bodies and breathings are going to naturally sync up, and when you are talking to this person, try to remember to slightly slow down your speaking. Just trust me on that one. This is a friendly reminder that preheating your oven is a scam made up by the electric and gas companies. Okay, as soon as you turn this on, pop your food in. What are you waiting for? It's gonna cook while it heats up. Here's some movies being made right now that you should be very excited for. A sequel to Beetlejuice is something that's been rumored for decades now. And it's finally happening! Thanks to Brad Pitt and his movie studio Plan B. Obviously, Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder are gonna come back, but they're also saying that Johnny Depp might be in it. Okay, if you've seen Twins with Arnold and DeVito, then you better prepare the fuck for Triplets, the sequel! But it's not gonna have Eddie Murphy. They casted Tracy Morgan to play the long-lost brother that I'm assuming they're gonna find and be like, what? They're making a live-action Little Mermaid! The cast looks amazing so far. I cannot wait. Let's just hope no popes are popping boners in this one, yeah?
Stop slouching. Stop staring at the ground when you walk. Stop using your phone to avoid eye contact. Stop crossing your arms in conversation. Stop putting your hands in your pockets when you don't know what else to do.
This is a formal trigger warning. Here are some of the worst prosthetics that actors had to endure. Robin Williams said that for his role in Popeye, he had to go through 90 minutes of makeup a day, but that his forearms were the worst part. He said that they would tie my arms up like a junkie for the fight scenes, and then when I had to ask for a bit of blood, they would release my arms until the circulation came back and then just tie me up again. Ian Coletti has to have his face covered up all day to play the character of Eugene Root, aka Arseface, a character in the show Preachers who was horribly disfigured after a suicide attempt. He said that there's not a whole lot of time to eat, that he has to be in the chair by 2 a.m. and doesn't get to go home until 10 p.m. Said that throughout the day he would be able to drink protein shakes, but that this was the saddest form of method acting that he's ever had to do. Jennifer Lawrence has said that if she was given the offer, she would consider coming back to play Mystique in a 4th X-Men movie, but that she doesn't necessarily want to, saying that inhaling all the fumes that made her achieve this look made her sick. They say less than 25% of people can swallow their spit 3 times in a row, and that less than 1% of people can swallow it 5 times in a row. I thought that this was way more common, but apparently only 5% of the world actually has freckles. 4% of people have what's called a preocular pit, which is this small hole in front of the ear that's a part of their sinus tract that just got put in the wrong place. 25% of people can force themselves to sneeze by just looking at a bright light. And about 35% of people don't have an inner monologue or a voice in their head. They're just able to think without all the narration going on, which I don't understand, but they do exist. Next time you're talking to your crush and the conversation gets kind of boring or even a little bit awkward, just ask them what they would do if money wasn't a part of the equation. The conversation is going to get much deeper than just asking them what their sign is or something. You could also just pretend that there's something stuck in your eye. Okay, it hurts really bad, you need their help. Depending on the height difference, they're gonna be looking up at you trying to figure out what's wrong. You're gonna be looking down at them or vice versa. All you gotta do is smile and they're gonna be like, what? And you gotta be like, I really just like you looking up or down at me. If you say it smoother, they'll get butterflies. You could also just ask your crush what their favorite movie is, and no matter what their answer is, just be like, oh, I've never seen it. And if they're like, ooh, we should watch it sometime, they like you. But if they're like, oh yeah, you should watch it sometime, yeah. Did you know that the #1 place people get abducted is grocery store parking lots? This is why as soon as you get in your car, you just need to start it and drive off. Don't just sit here scrolling on your phone. You make yourself super vulnerable to anybody that's willing to take the chance to get to you. Everybody should have pepper spray or one of these keychain weapons, but most people don't. But if you're a woman, I'd put money down that you know about the whole like holding your keys in your hand like you're Wolverine or something, but you should try to remember to keep the keys in your non-dominant hand. Because your dominant hand is going to be the one that you're able to punch the hardest with, but now at least your non-dominant hand has some extra attack points. If you're ever just out walking alone and a guy stops you to ask where you're going, do not tell him you're going home. From my own personal experience, they end up just following you. Instead, say you're going to your boyfriend's place, because guys will respect the hypothetical presence of a man more so than you asking him to leave you alone. Okay, bud, so this is a challenge that I saw on TikTok, but I don't even think it'll be that much of a challenge for you, because look how long your legs are. You can do this. I have some treats. Come on. Come on. Where are you going? Come on. What if I lower it just like a little bit? Surely now you realize you can step over. Come on. Come on. Look at those ankles. It's below. Come on. Oh my goodness. Astro, you're embarrassing me in front of the entire internet. Okay, what if we just lower it a little bit more? Come get the treat. Come get the treat. Come on. Fuck. You're not getting underneath this. Come on. You can do it. Come on.